Stop it, we like it. Let's get to the meat of it.
Oh, yes.
You have experience in so many. I want to know about your childhood. I'm just curious about today's woman and where they started and how they've come this far. What were you like as a child? Parents, the siblings?
Okay, so I'm from a family of seven children.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the first.
Oh.
Okay.
I want to see what your siblings look like.
Oh,
How
they're-
because they're following your footsteps.
Well, my siblings, by the mercies of God, grace of God, are successful in their various fields.
Aw.
They're professionals in their
Different fields.
Yes,
That's
and
awesome.
they are So, my father, who's an engineer and a Reverend Canon,
Ooh.
the Cathedral Church, and my mother, God rest her soul, she was a pharmacist. Yeah. So, I grew up in a very, very, very loving and secure family. Yeah. Safety was always very, very paramount with my parents. They never allowed us, stay in spaces that didn't feel safe. And I really do cherish that. And I thank God. And I thank them for that. I thank them for, taking note of that.
I'm curious as to that. Safety was paramount for them where you were concerned. How does that look? Like, what is not safe? Or, how did they catch what safety is and what safety wasn't? Because you paid attention to that.
Yeah, so they were always mindful of where we went to. Even when they were taking us there. Yes, in those, and to think of in those days, we're talking about the 70s, the 80s.
Yeah.
Those were times where Lagos, Nigeria was still safe.
Largely.
Yeah, it was largely safe. So, but my parents, I don't know, for some reason, they just were
Very particular.
Yes,
Right.
they were quite particular about who was surrounding their children, who was with their children. And we just had a beautiful family, extended family, our cousins, our aunties. It was, of course, there's no family without its issues, but it was all love and kindness and safety.
Now that you mention kindness, in all of your finding yourself as a woman today and finding the path that you have always wanted to, how was the journey doing that?
Oh, wow. So the journey, finding myself. Well, I would say that I used to work in a corporate organization.
What did you study in school?
I studied sociology.
Oh, okay.
And then I studied hotel management.
What was your first job?
I did a bit of accounting, but that was just maybe for a year. Yaba Tech.
I feel like modeling
That is
came
my
first in
alma
your
mater.
jobs.
That is
Then
my
I did
alma mater.
I did my hotel management certificate course in Yaba Tech too.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
So what was the first job that you did? And sequence of jobs.
Okay, the sequence of jobs. I had been working ever since I was a teenager. I was working with my mom in her pharmaceutical company. Yeah, she always made sure we were engaged, we're busy.
Right.
She didn't allow us, become idle. Yeah, so we were always working. At least we understood the importance of hard work. We understood the importance of hard work and being how would I say? I don't know the word to use, but hard work.
You just brought to mind the term "don't work hard, work smart." What do you think about that phrase?
I think both should work together because you still have to work hard
To be smart.
You still have to work. So it all depends on the situation. Yeah, there's some times you work smart, and there's sometimes you work hard. So
Right. With being that woman then and now, hard work is something that I know for a fact that you are giddy on. She would get on set as early as anyone would, get her makeup and hair done on time,
and then be waiting for
sit
people.
and wait for people.
And you are
And it
patient
tells
person.
about everything that you have done.
okay, so I got this ethics from my parents.
Right.
Yes. my mom, my dad always believed that, look, you be on time. It is very tacky to get to a place late. And then, of course, I went to the Federal Government Girls College, Calabar. Yeah, I remember this was in the 80s. So, I mean, you always had to be on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything was scheduled. Of course, if you're not on time, you're in trouble, you know. So all those things you learn, you know. And so it has become a part of me. And, of course, being in the theatre, especially theatre, you learn to be on time because as it is, you really don't want your director. Yes, it can be quite confusing, and then you start blaming yourself that why did I? But for me, I think it's still preferred. I still prefer to be on time.
Then moving from,
I understand the fashionably late thing. I know job. Don't be fashionably late. Come on time.
Love it.
I like that you mentioned ethics, which is something that we don't exactly see, especially in women today. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's wrong.
Wrong.
It is wrong.
End of story.
End of story. Like she's like, it's wrong.
End of story.
Don't ever.
It's never nice when, let's face it, we're women and we're classy. You see, the moment I remember when we were growing up, we were taught to respect ourselves. In every aspect, the way you speak, the way you present yourself, the way you serve people, the way you even cleaning, you know, your general surrounding, the cleanliness of yourself. We were taught to respect ourselves, even though it wasn't called that at the time. You know, we're taught to respect ourselves, and as women, we must understand that we are special. And yes, it's the truth. We are special. And the reason why we are special is because we are nurturers. We are life givers. We are the portal through which life comes forth. And we're healers. We heal through different ways. We heal through the cooking of the food. When you speak to someone, when you hug, the hugs. See, those hugs, they you see, you might think, I remember when, you know, I would, you know, run to my dad and, you know, he would hug us and one auntie or the other and they would hug. You know, you might just think, oh, those are just hugs. No,
They mean a
those
lot.
hugs mean a lot. They do mean a lot. So it's important that we understand who we are as women.
When I first saw her, the first thing she did was happily hug me, and I was like, a woman after my own heart, because I'm a hugger too. I love it. I want to talk about the segue from the corporate world to film theatre. Why and how?
Okay.
Even when? When did it happen?
Yes, when, why, and how?
Okay, why? So we started raising a family, my husband and I, and my husband just made it clear that, look, I need you to be present with these children.
That's all boys, by the way.
An army.
You know,
soldiers.
so my husband was like, look, please, I need you to be present with these children. I mean, I understand the need for, of course, the nanny will be there, but you need to be there. You need to be there. I didn't understand it at first. But it was over time. He let me understand that, look, it is when you're there, you're imparting yourself as parents. And even the nannies they used to go and come. He said the reason was that so that we bond with our children. Because there's always the tendency to leave everything to the nanny.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, it's not an easy job.
Right.
Not
It's a
because
mother.
we're lazy, no. It's because it's not an easy job. But so the nanny would come in the morning, she would close by 7 or 6, you know, and I would practically take over from there. Daddy to, you know, take over from there. So we grew with our children, and we don't have any regrets. We're grateful. We're really, really grateful for that. So that was what informed my journey, because what happened was that at that time, because I was working, I had to resign. You know, so I used to work with a technology company at the time, Octagon Technologies.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we're a service providing company at Zumba and Badiwi at that time. Yeah.
Big. Big.
You know, so I had to, of course, me, the restless one, I had to get something doing. Of course, I dabbled into a bit of business, you know, beadwork and all of that, but that wasn't enough for me. I now said, okay, God, I took this matter to God. I said, okay, God, move me into the space that you want me to, that I would function well in and would help me also, you know, take care of these, you know, of the home and the children. And
Right.
yeah, it was, and that was how
Acting
that
started.
was how acting started. And I know she's going to roll her eyes if I mention her name again. But my big sis, Abiola Shegun Williams.
I love it. She calls me full name.
Yes.
Yes, she, you know, I just call her out of the blues and she says, come and see me, come and see me. And she was like, oh, what have you been doing? And I'm like, oh, sis, just, you know, the children. She'll say, you know.
And she's
she
that
just,
way.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, and she was
That's
like,
how she acts.
and she's like, no. Okay. Well, I'll just send your number to, you know, someone who would at least, you know, and that was how I started. I started on Tinsel. I started on Tinsel.
Now we bond again. I was on Tinsel.
Really?
Yes. When
You were?
Yes,
Honestly.
I was.
How did I
Back
know?
in the day when people like Victor Sanchez Araua were directors.
Yes.
And that was
when
certain time as
what's
well.
her name? What's the beautiful name with her hair, her cut hair? Dupe. Yes.
I remember, but I remember Uche.
The director. Well, Uche, the tall, lanky guy.
Yes,
Ugh.
yes.
I grew up literally a house next to him when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Whole
wow.
history. But yeah, one thing. I want to talk about something that we talked about today on Family Matters.
Okay.
As a woman, and we talked about this on the hangs of a man was complaining about his wife being too clingy.
Oh, wow.
And we were trying to look at that and a successful woman, how clinginess takes away from a woman. He says she doesn't have any friends. She
resigned her job
She resigned her job
because
and she's always
wants to be
barraging
with
him
him.
with calls and messages. He says, "I'm done. I'm looking for how to relocate. I just want to be out of here." What do you think about a woman and clinginess? And then again, trying to be successful? Because I put them. I feel like they're on two sides.
Oh, wow. So I would say that must stem from a place of unhealed issues. Because for her to be clingy, anyone can be clingy, and it happens to the best of us.
right.
It does. And so I think, well, I don't know, can I offer any, well, just go back and check through the things that have happened through her life and find out, you know, the things that
Where the trauma comes from.
where the trauma is coming from. Because being clingy, I mean, she's no more a child, you know, so it's something she's afraid of. And I think she needs to heal that so that she can move on. That's the way I see it.
Okay.
So in the acting industry, you have been acting for quite some time now. I'm seeing since like 2013-ish.
Yes.
I mean, she has done Kakadu the musical, theater, yes, Heartbeat the musical, The Magic of the Musical, Lion and the Jewel.
Lion and the Jewel,
Yes,
oh my
she has been in all of these
She's been
plays.
in films. Oh, by the way, if you're watching Wura, she's in.
Yes, she's in Wura. You just need to go to social media now to see who we're talking about.
She's on Jennifer's Diary. My siblings.
Aye.
Don't let us continue. We're not finished. How do you get to do all of these things?
Well, support.
Let's talk support as a woman.
And supporting
Yes.
women supporting, because you just talked about Abiola. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's, yes. First of all, support. My husband has been a big help, you know, and, you know, of course, men. You know, they wish I'd want to add their own, but he's been very, very supportive and very kind in the process, you know. And the fact of women supporting women. Look, if a woman is good enough for the job, please let her do it.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't understand all this here and there. If she's good for the job, let her do it. If it's the man, let him do it. Whoever it is. But I think it's important that we help one another up. If you're there and you can help and you can lift the other person up, please do it. It's very, very important.
Do you think that women supporting women
That term, to be honest with
Thank you.
I don't.
Thank
because
you.
Supporting
I'm
people.
like,
We should
women
also
supporting women, I
we
don't
should also support
understand.
each
We're
other.
human beings. We're meant to support each other.
I saw a woman
mean-
who had a situation with, and she was talking to the woman in charge, and she's like, help me now, women supporting women, and you are wrong.
Exactly. Hey,
She was going to unleash.
do
Please
you
go
know?
ahead.
I'm like, I mean, supporting women in what?
Why?
Is
If
it-
you don't merit it, why should I support you?
Do you understand? It's just the same thing as a man would say, "Oh, support me in how?
Why?
Sorry, you know, yes." So honestly, anytime that phrase comes up, I'm always like, I don't know. It just doesn't sit too well. We're meant to support each other. So why the
As individuals.
Why the placard?
We might as well not ask you if you're a feminist.
At all.
Yeah, you're not in the
I
school
am
of
not.
feminism.
I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not.
Thank you. I always say I'm a humanist. not a
Yes,
feminist.
yes.
Right.
But then let's talk about ladies in today's world, because we're seeing a lot of inappropriateness on many levels. How do you advise a young lady in today's world to become? And I love what you said about your parents and how they trained you, and then the ethics and these little things that count. They're the tiny little details that make you stand out. But these kids, they're out the window. So for a young lady who's listening and wants to be like, oh, I want to be Adiola Owodeng,
wow.
what does that mean to you? What do you advise them to do?
Okay, so the first thing is, what are you focusing on? What are you feeding your mind with? Because I remember when I was a child, I would sit in front of my mother's mirror and I would act like I was Elizabeth Taylor.
Ooh.
Yes, you know, with the wine glass, and you know, I would just talk to myself, the mirror in front of me. So I would say, what are you feeding on? What is it that you are feeding on? You must be mindful of what you're feeding on. There's a lot of information on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
And many of these informations, in my own opinion, are personal experiences.
Right.
Which they're okay. But you must understand that not every information is for you. Not every information is for you. You must learn to, if you're listening to even the wisest of people, you should listen. Okay, is this information for me? Is this my situation? Okay, can I apply it? Does it apply?
Does it apply
Does it apply?
in my
Is this
situation?
Yes,
information
you
important to
have
me?
to.
Is
You
this my
can't say,
situation?
oh, because Lagbaja is going through this, so that means, okay, if I do what Lagbaja is doing,
I will get the same.
I will get
results
the same
as
result
results
because
as
we're
Lagbaja.
going through the same thing. No,
Two
we're
DNAs.
different people.
That's right.
And so you have to understand that it's not every information that you absorb.
If someone's listening to you right now, what makes Adiola Owodeng? What would you say?
Okay, so what makes Adiola Owodeng is because I have learned to be myself. I'm still learning, to be happy with who I am. Yeah, to be happy with who I am, to understand that I have my weaknesses, I have my strengths.
Right.
I am a person. And I must respect myself. Whether you respect me or not, that is not my problem. My problem is to respect myself. And I will respect you, definitely. I will not behave tackily if you don't.
No way.
I love this woman.
I love it.
So this is one of the things you said at the beginning that I was like, because I wish we could keep you for an hour. We will go on. You said, I was taught to respect myself. And you know, in the African culture, you're thinking about respecting other
Others.
people first. You need to, so I'm taking away from this conversation, you need to respect yourself first to be able
Put
to
yourself into
respect someone
consideration.
else.
So I don't know. Maybe it's because of the way my mom. I think it's because of the way we were raised. You know, it was just a case of behave yourself.
You're a lady.
It's like behave.
You know, even with my brothers, you know, it was behave. You don't go to a place and you start
acting up.
Yes, or you don't even go, or you go. My mom.
You know,